Good morning, I'm Neil Ryder and I'm a member of the Hong Kong UK support team. Today I have with me Homy Dayani-Fard, an experienced career coach who I believe has some unique insights into the relocation journey that some of you might be about to make. Homy, welcome and thanks for giving us some of your time. Now, from the press and TV coverage we see here in the UK, I think we're very aware of the situation in Hong Kong. And I think it's quite understandable why there's a lot of interest amongst Hong Kongers in potentially relocating to the UK. Now, if I was going to make that journey, can you tell me what I should be concerned about regarding my career?
Thanks, Neil. Delighted to be with you. As I have said in our conversation offline, this is a journey that many people make in terms of career change, because there are bigger changes in terms of changing the country, etc. But there are three in career coaching. We talk about tripod. There are three elements that you will be grappling with when you're changing a career. One of them is you're changing your industry potentially. You could change your function, the role that you played in your company, and sometimes the geography. In this case, if you're coming to UK, geography is definitely changing. Each of them have certain ramifications, and also it creates some opportunities. So the simplest one is just change one. And this is one thing that traditionally people do in terms of transferring with their employer to the new geography. You're working for an multinational, let's say in Hong Kong, you can just transfer to UK. That's the easiest one you can do. Or some companies, you can't transfer, but you can resign and apply here, and they take all your credentials. Similar to that one, you can actually go to someone similar. So let's say you work for an HSBC in Hong Kong, you can come for another bank in London. Similar, you're just changing geography. However, some people, when they're coming from two different countries, either for personal reasons that they want to change career, or for the professional reasons, a career of choice in one geography may not be as lucrative or as rewarding in another geography. Therefore, you may want to change your function. For example, you may work the head of finance in one geography, and in another geography, it may not be as lucrative position or as rewarding. You may say, I want to change my function. The third one is when you're going out of your industry. Out of your industry probably is one of the most exciting one, but at the same time it's very difficult, because you have to prove yourself to other people. So therefore, these are the three elements. I usually say to people, just pay attention how many you want to change, in what order, and when. And those are usually the ones that actually help people navigate their career change. And the more dimensions you want to change, the more planning you have to do. And one thing I always say, because I have clients who come to me and they're very terrified, oh, I'm going to change all three, must be very difficult. It requires more planning, but it's also at times it's more rewarding. And for some people, just transferring may be a first step. This is a very good one. And also for some people, this may give them a chance to reflect, because as you may know, the UK is one of the hotbed of small businesses in Europe and in the world in general. A lot of people start small businesses in the UK. And this is one of the things that I always say to people. You look at the three functions. If those functions, industries don't give you what you want, maybe you should start your own business.
Okay, so this move then involves some careful thought and some careful planning, because and if we just move without taking into account or thinking through those three areas that you've described, what might be the implications and the consequences?
Generally, it could delay your progress, and the delay can become very frustrating for people, because if you've been a professional in your own country, you're coming over, not having a job for 6 months can take a huge emotional toll on you, and in some cases economic tolls. And this is for that reason that I usually advise people, do your planning in advance. Plan what you're going to change, what career you want. These are the times that you can actually take some time and reflect on your career. Like one of the things that I usually work with my clients is speaking about a career journey and a career narrative. If someone spoke to you, what would you say about your career? And usually we work on an exercise, just put yourself in the UK 5 years out. Where are you? What are you doing? And how did you get there? Those are the type of things that gives people a sense of you're not planning just to create a plan, you're planning to go somewhere. So it helps them and it prevents them from it is a huge emotional toll. And I've seen it in people because sometimes people end up stepping down in their career just to get something and work their way back up. There's nothing wrong with stepping down if it's a planned, but if it's just something that you're forced, it does take emotional toll on people.
Okay, so this is a journey that needs to be planned as soon as you can. It isn't a case of waiting till you make that relocation journey or when you arrive. It's something that needs to be thought about well in advance of any move that you're going to make.
Correct, because this is one of the things, some of the work that you, for example, if you're in Hong Kong and you do some of these planning, it actually may accelerate you more than when you come here. If you've already introduced, while you're working there, while you're doing your life, you spend some time, for example, just do a couple of networking, know a few people. You've already looked at how the CVs are drafted here, which are usually a bit different in the other countries. How do you engage with the headhunters? How do you engage with this? Once you get here, you are months ahead. Because I've seen people who have come here and they say, well, I'll start here. Guess what? There are so many challenges when you're migrating to a new country. All of a sudden, you don't have enough time in a day to go through. And I have one client in this instance who came to UK. This was not like a negligence, it just that they couldn't do it. So he came. It has taken him 12 months to be able to go build a network, search for the job and he's very senior. It's not something that he can just go do a one interview and just get the job. Okay.
And for many of us that are coming over, we're coming over as a couple. So what might be, what guidance could you give a couple that are coming over? What help and assistance could you give there?
And when there are two of you, usually add some complexity because now you have to juggle between two careers. But at the same time, I always recommend to people to look at all the advantages that you get. For example, the gentleman that I said in terms of my example that they had to arrive is because his wife got a wonderful opportunity in the UK. He didn't have time to move. So what they did in their way of their planning, they just said, she will go and get started and transfer, and he will do the next step. It is very important to look at all those three axes that we just said, and also do it within the family. Can we both get a job simultaneously? Can someone get it first? The other one goes second? Is it something that we have to change? Because like one of the things that I've seen quite a few of my clients do, when they're coming across, one of them says, okay, my career is not going to be as rewarding in the UK. I've always thought about starting a business. If both of you are starting a business, it's usually very difficult. Again, I'm not saying it's impossible. It takes its toll. But if one is doing the business, the other one has a job, you always have that steady cash flow coming in. And somebody can be an anchor. So I usually ask the couple, who is going to be the anchor? Let's figure out who's the anchor. You get the anchor, the person gets a job, they're all taken care of, and you support the other person. So the other person can work as either look for another opportunity, do different type of transitions, or maybe they want to start a business. A lot of people come to UK, as I said, to start a business.
Right. Okay, and how might you help us on this journey?
Typically, I have clients come to me in having different needs. Some people actually already have done their work. They just want to sharpen their presentation, talk through their strategy, or talk through what they're going to do almost immediately. I'm happy to help them, and I have clients who work with me. There are other people who come to me when they are absolutely in a position of reflection. They just say, look, A gentleman came to me, he was from Asia, and he said, I've had a very long career, I'm very happy. Now I'm coming to UK, but I don't want to do the same thing. So we spent a long time to just helping him reflect on his career, his ambitions, his life implications, his family implication, what he wanted to do. So we go through and we do the coaching in terms of having that reflection. What is the new career journey, career narrative, and then preparing, because preparation is one of the things in terms of changing your CV, tailoring your message to the UK community, having a plan in terms of networking in the UK, and preparing for the interviews. And some people are basically in the middle. They have some of it, but they want to do other things. As I said, this gentleman who came would fall into that category. He already had a plan that he wanted to go back to the same industry, but he didn't know how to navigate his way through it. So those are usually the type of people that know what they want, we just help them in terms of going through.
Okay, and then you help them to navigate through that process.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And are you working with people at the moment who find themselves in a similar kind of journey situation? And what are you doing to help them?
My coaching side of my business has two parts. One is private clients, but I also have an assignment with the Oxford University Side Business School. And I've been helping the graduates and students for the past 10 years or so. Because I always say MBAs are perfect examples. These are the people who've had a career, come to United Kingdom, go to a prestigious university, get a degree, and that will enable them to change career in terms of function, industry, geography, because I think it's about 92% of Oxford Business School students are actually from outside the UK. So a lot of them come with the intention of making a transition into UK or into Europe. And some of them come from Asia, want to go to US, from US come, they want to go to Asia. We get all kinds in this one. And it is something that I work with them almost on a daily basis. Every week I have students and the graduates and alumni that I go through. And I also have the private clients, similar things. They come mostly for the career. And some of the people actually after their career, they just want to improve their position in the company that they're working in.
Okay. And can you just outline, the services that you provide, Homy?
As I alluded to earlier, there are three services that I provide. One of them is many of my clients or people who have heard from me, they just come almost like an hourly basis. They just want to consult with me about something very specific. So when they come to me, they know exactly what they want. They come just, I have a presentation to make, or I have an interview I have to prepare. I have to go for a networking event, or I just want to discuss my CV. This is one of the things that I always call them ad hoc. You just come, you just want to freshen up on something. The second one is when people come to me and just say, look, I have had some plans, but I feel I just to talk through them, think through them, and just go forward. These are the ones that I call the midterm. So usually they have like a 3 months plan, and they just say in 3 months, I just need to work with you too. They know where they're going. They have almost the deadlines set for themselves. The third category are the people, as I said, they are more reflective. Either they feel like, this is one of the things I always say to my clients when I come and say, it is okay to be lost. A lot of people come, this is a very difficult transition and very exciting. It's okay to be lost. And some people come to me and say, I'm actually lost. And say it's perfectly fine. But that requires a little bit of a longer terms, which I usually work with people over a span of 6 to 8 months to help them in terms of developing a career vision, a journey and a narrative, and go through everything that we talked about earlier about the other categories. So I offer people flexibility in terms of what they want and how they want to work with me.
Okay, that's really interesting. Now, Homy, from the work that you and I have done together, I know that you bring something very, very special to the table. And because you've experienced this relocation journey yourself more than once. Could you just share a little bit of that with us now?
Sure, delighted. Because as I said, one of the reasons I came to coaching is I love helping people. And many years ago, when I got into coaching, when I was going through my training, one of my instructors asked me and says, what do you bring to the table from the coaching? And I always said, it's my lived experience. So as we talked about earlier, to answer your question, is I've done this quite a few times, and two of them which sticks with me all the time is the first time was I was born and raised in Iran. So in the 80s, I had to leave during the war. After the revolution, it was chaotic, and I landed in Canada. So I landed in Canada, couldn't speak English, didn't have any credentials, and I was very ambitious, and I needed to make the big shift. Culture, language, industry, function, everything had to change. I was in electrical engineering in Iran, but at that time in Canada, the electrical engineers weren't that popular. I really needed to make a shift. It was very difficult, but again, that's one of the things I said, because when I was leaving, my father at that time said to me, study a bit of English, do some preparation now. I didn't listen to him and pay the dear price. The second time I was much older, I was coming to UK. Similarly, it was in Canada, I was going through changes. I wanted to come to UK. Same thing. I wanted to change the industry, geography, and function. I wanted to start a career as a strategy consultant. I was an academic, so it was very difficult. This time I was well prepared. So when I came to UK, I had done the research, I had read about things, I have decided. And the biggest part of that preparation, and I say to you that I alluded earlier, is I was ready for a difficult time. I knew, like I remember one of my friends said, I'm preparing myself for a lot of rejections. And this is one of the tools that I say to people, how to manage rejections when it comes to interviews, to get your hopes up. Those are the preparation, which was phenomenally important, because don't get me wrong, it was a bumpy road. I would not claim that it was easy, but the preparation made all the difference.
Okay, thanks, Homy. That's really, really interesting and really useful. So for those of you that are going to be making that potential journey, and we're thinking of relocating from Hong Kong to UK, then it is a big journey, and you may need some help and support in doing it. And if you're interested in finding out more about Homy or working with Homy, then speak to or email HK UK Support, and the team there will make the necessary arrangements for you and put you in touch. So thanks for watching this video, and I wish you well with your journey. Goodbye.